Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. So glad you could join me. You can tell from the thumbnail that it's not a very good morning. It's because the truck's hurt a little bit. The truck's broken a little bit, but that's okay because we're taking it right now to the doctor to find out what's wrong and to get it fixed up. So while I drive there and let the sun come up, let's take a moment to thank today's sponsor of our video and our current giveaway, Aurora Heated Jackets. Our new Aurora Heated Jackets.
Oh man.
They finally got here. And we've partnered with them so we can give away 2 of these to 2 of you guys out there. But before we talk about how to enter the contest, let's talk about what came in the bag. So these come in this neat little bag like this. Well, not really in this. They come in a box first. When we take it out of the box, it's in this little carrying case right here. And inside, you have 1 heated jacket, the mini 5K battery, and the battery charger.
So I got the women's heated jacket. It's shark skin gray and it has 4 heating zones.
I got the heated fleece hoodie. It only has 3 heating zones, but man, feel that fleece.
I know, it looks so soft and fluffy. I love it. I'm kind of jealous.
So once you get your jackets out of the bag, it's time to put them together and turn them on. So you have the 5K mini battery here. You just press the button till it's on, and that tells you how much battery life you have. Then you open your jacket, and right here in this pocket is a cord. You plug your battery in, put it back in there, and this is how you turn it on. You see this logo right here, the Aurora logo? You press it, and it will light up saying it's on.
Oh, that's super cool.
So it has 3 different modes. It has white, which is medium heat. It has blue, which is low heat. And it has red, which is high heat. On a full charge, this battery will power this jacket on low mode for 10 hours, on medium mode for 6 hours, and on high mode for 3 hours. So another cool feature is the battery has some output ports, meaning I can charge my phone while heating myself. So you just take the battery out, you can plug your phone charger in, and now not only am I warm, my device will stay fully charged.
So I just found all my heating zones because I'm warming up now. I have one in each of my pockets for my hands, keeps me so warm. I also have one on my neck here and one on my upper back. This thing is perfect. But what I also love is that it has a detachable hood, so I can just unzip it and take the hood off when I don't need that. I have a new love in my life. Sorry, babe. This thing is so awesome. It's keeping me so warm.
I love to wear hoodies. I don't like to wear big jackets, but sometimes the hoodies I'm wearing are not heavy enough for the temperature outside. Now I have a hoodie that can turn the temperature up to make me comfortable no matter what the temperature is outside.
So when you live in an RV, space is a premium. And what I love about these heated jackets is that if you're not in a climate where you need a jacket, they come with this great little carrying case. So you can fold it up, store it away, put your battery pack in here, and you don't have to have it taking up space in your closet.
Another great thing about these jackets is when you live on the road full time, you have to carry jackets for every season, meaning we carry light jackets, medium jackets, heavy jackets, and that takes up a lot of space in our RV. This one right here can become all 3 depending on the temperature setting you choose. So it's gonna help us thin out the amount of jackets we have to carry while living full-time on the road. If you're interested in learning more about these Aurora Heated Jackets, check the link in the description below. Now our contest is still going on now through March 16th, where we're giving away 2 classic heated jackets valued at $209 a piece. And all you gotta do to get yourself entered is head over to pavingnewfafs.com and purchase any of our merch. Any of our merch gets you entered to win one of these classic heated jackets. Thanks again to Aurora Heated Jackets for sponsoring today's video and our current giveaway. Probably wondering, what is wrong with the truck? It can't be that bad because you're driving it. Well, it is kind of bad, but I am driving it because it needs to get to the doctor. So when we got here on Thursday, when we were parking the RV, I started hearing a noise. I had the windows down and I heard a noise that sounded like something was dragging or grabbing, and when I hit the brakes, it was a grinding, dragging noise. So once we got the RV parked and unhooked from the truck, we did some driving around the campground and tried to film the noise you're hearing, and you guys can check that out right here. I'm gonna have Alicia.
Hi.
She's gonna drive the truck real quick to show you guys what we're hearing. There's a grinding, dragging noise on our front left rotor. So either the brake pads are gone, the rotor's done, something's going on. We're actually gonna drive down here to this little bridge where it has a barrier where you can hear it when it echoes off the side of things. It's that's kind of how we first heard it. We heard it bouncing off of other vehicles when we were pulling in the park. When you get out and know what to look for, it's a very disturbing sound. first, it was just when the brakes were hit, you would hear the squealing / grinding noise. And now, it's anytime it's rolling, there's a dragging noise on that front corner. We're taking it to Ford, let them figure out what's going on and make it right. Welcome to the Ford dealership. We're a little early, our appointment's not till 8, it's 7:37. Figured I'd tell you guys some more about this story. So you just saw the noises it was making when we got to the RV park. Well, that night, we decided to take the truck to Green, Texas to go eat dinner. And I said, the problem is already there. It's not gonna get much worse, so we can use it until we get a chance to fix it, because this doesn't happen overnight. This has been a problem that took several thousand miles to get there. What's a few more? The problem got louder, so we could start to hear the dragging noise off the rock walls next to us going down River Road. When we got to Green, I could hear it in traffic driving through the town, and then on the way home, the grinding noise got loud at speed. So now it's dragging at speed, so much so you can hear it inside the truck. The truck hasn't moved since Thursday night until today when we're here at the doctor to get it fixed. I've got a brake issue. Potentially it went from just pads to now I may need a rotor up there. We know for sure we need a brake job. If we're gonna do one, we'll do all the brakes. And we may need a new rotor to replace the one that's metal on metal, because that noise right there tells me I probably have a brake pad that is gone and it's dragging the backing plate on the rotor. There's a chance it could not need to be replaced. It could be machined or turned, but I have a bad feeling about it because on our drive here from Big Bend, I like to drive on interstates in cruise control. And I kept telling Alicia, the truck's acting weird today. It's not cruising, it's acting like it's always accelerating. It's always trying to drive. It never finds its happy place where it can just relax. Well, that's because it was probably dragging a rotor the entire drive. And my truck was telling me, hey man, I'm working a little extra today. I just thought it was the wind or the hills. No, it's probably because it had some extra friction over here on this side and it was having to drive through it. So who knows how bad it got during that tow, and obviously the driving we did that night. Brakes don't go bad overnight. This problem happens over several thousand miles. A few months ago, the truck gave me the warnings. I started hearing the wear squeals, but I was hearing it on the passenger side of the truck. And I'd get out and I'd look at it. You could see that the wear tabs were touching, and it was time to start thinking about changing the brake pads. I figured we would just wait till we got back from Big Bend. We would do a brake job. Well, we're doing a brake job. We're doing a brake job because we waited too long, and now it may cost us a rotor. That's my guess. Now you're probably wondering, why did I come to Ford? Well, I initially wasn't gonna come to Ford. I was actually gonna try to do it myself in the RV park. But then I had to start thinking about what are the costs and is it worth the extra time to save the money? Because I have the tools. I don't have all the tools. I'm sure I'll need at least one tool from the store, but I don't have floor jacks, I don't have jack stands, and the RV park is not concrete, it's rock, so I'd be doing all this on rock. But if I take it apart and I need a part somewhere, I don't have a truck to go get the part. My truck is now taken apart. So that's another scenario that I had to consider. But first I had to figure out what's it gonna cost to get it done somewhere else. I called a mom and pop shop and I got their quote, and their price was not terrible, but it was basically the same price if I did it myself. But here's the catch. They wouldn't tell me what kind of parts they're using. Can I go get the Ford Motorcraft parts and bring them to you and you do the job? And they told me we don't use outside parts, you have to use our parts. And I said, okay, what kind of parts do you use? Are you putting Motorcraft on? He goes, no, we have supplied parts. Right there I know that I'm paying a premium for parts, but it's not OEM parts, it's their supplied parts. So I call Brake Check, which is a chain store, and I thought it might be a little better. It was actually a very similar experience to the mom and pop store. One rotor and brake job on all 4 tires. About 550 bucks. They wouldn't tell me what brand of parts they were using, and they were charging me $250 a rotor. Well, I wanted to know, what kind of rotor is it? Like, are you doing OEM? Is it Motorcraft? No, it's our supplied parts. And I brought the same question up. Can I go to Ford and get the parts and you install them? Nope, no outside parts. So then I called Ford and I asked Ford what their price is. Their price is $600 just for the brakes, right? But they do more than that. They actually take all 4 rotors off. They're gonna machine them or turn them. They're gonna repack your bearings, change your seals, and put everything back together with new brake pads. So for $600, I'm getting 4 machined rotors. The last 2 places said they do not machine rotors. All they do is look at them. If they're within spec, they put brake pads on it and they call it good. If it's out of spec, you have to replace it with a new rotor. They do not machine or turn them, which I find funny because I've never known a place not to machine or turn a rotor or a drum to get more life out of it. So I also asked Ford, how much for a rotor? And they say there's no labor on it because we're already doing the job, but the rotor itself is 250 bucks. So Ford charges me $250 for a Motorcraft rotor. The other places are charging me $250 for a rotor, but it's not Motorcraft. So that made the choice easy. If I'm gonna let somebody else do the job, I'm probably gonna take it to Ford, because that's what's on the truck now. That's what latches this long, and that's what I want to go back with. But now I had to decide, am I gonna pay Ford to do it, or am I gonna do it myself? When I added the parts up, plus the extra tools I was gonna have to buy potentially to do the job, I was at about $550. If the rotor is not bad, today is gonna cost me about $600. If the rotor is bad, about $850. So best case scenario, all the work is gonna save me $50. Worst case scenario, all the work is gonna save me, what's that, $250, $300? Is $300 worth my time? And in this case, because of where I'd be doing the job, yes, I will pay somebody $300 to do this for me. They told me when I check in, they will go ahead and assess the condition of the driver's side rotor and tell me if it can be turned or if it's gonna be a replacement, just so that we know price. And then they said 4 to 6 hours and the truck will be out of here with all new brakes on all 4 corners, with or without a new rotor depending on what happens, and they will all be turned or remachined. Now you're probably wondering, how many miles did you get out of your stock brake pads? And this is where you guys are gonna tear me up, because I went way too far on these brake pads. In my mind, I had a different number before I had to start worrying about it. So we have 74,703 miles on the stock brake pads. And judging from the sound, that was about 20,000 miles too many for this one over here. So I looked it up at what do brake pads last. It said 30 to 70,000 miles depending on usage. Well, we're over the 70,000, and that's probably the guy that doesn't pull anything and drives just to and from work every day. This truck pulls a 20,000 pound RV. I would say more than 50% of the time it's moving. We probably should have changed these about 25,000 miles ago. And this is all my fault. We were gonna do a brake job anyway, but now because I didn't take the signs, we might be doing a brake job plus a rotor. We're gonna go inside, get checked in, find out how much this is gonna cost me a day. You guys let me know in the comments. What do you think the price is gonna be? I'm gonna go ahead and say 850 bucks, 1 new rotor, and all 4 corners with brake jobs done. The first news was not good at all. He just came and told me that both the front rotors are done. It was the inside brakes on both of them had been grinding metal on metal. So now we're getting 2 new rotors and a complete brake job. So this job just went from 850 bucks to around $1,100. But they did say they're gonna let me see the rotors, and I'll show you guys how good or how bad they look with metal on metal contact. So they let me see my parts, and it is bad. I'm gonna show you the good one first. So this right here is the passenger side rotor, and you can see it's starting to have some heat marks. This is what my brake pads look like. So this one was the inside one, and it was almost done. This was the outside one, and it's almost done. Now the bad one. Look at this right here. So this was unturnable. Look at these marks, and this is why. This was my inside brake pad. Actually, this is the back of the brake pad, so it was metal on metal. This was the outside one. It's pretty much done too. So we have 2 new rotors on the truck now. So we have the technician that worked on my truck. Why did the inside pad wear different than the outside pad?
Well, in this situation, due to the weight of the vehicle and the way the vehicle runs, we do have a lot of braking up front.
Okay.
But mostly what we look at is the wear difference. And the wear difference is not enough to worry about a caliper issue.
Okay.
Or the slide pins.
Okay.
If the slide pins start to seize up, or if they start to lock up, then what happens is you'll get uneven wear.
Okay.
But your slide pins were just fine. They were greased. They didn't have any issues. But the problem we're having here is that it's not enough to tell us that there was a caliper issue.
It's just enough to say that I ran them way too long.
In other words, you went to the point of, no, we're not coming back.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. You saw I had 74,000 miles on it.
Exactly.
I pull more than 50% of the time with a heavy load.
Right.
What's the mileage I should have changed these at?
Somewhere around 50.
50?
Maybe 60. You might have got away with 60. What we do is we want to be around 30 seconds.
Okay.
And that's when we want to start panicking.
You know what's funny is I heard the squealers about 7,500 miles ago, but it was on that side. I didn't even check this side because I wasn't hearing it. I was only hearing it over there.
What happens to the squeakers is once they touch or hit, they just snap right off.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what happened here. On your guide, you have a very small spring edge.
Okay.
That touches the rotor, and it's very minute. So what happens, it gets hot, and it just flicks right off. But here, what we did is we looked at all 4 pads, we checked all the slide pins, and we checked all 4 calipers.
Okay.
And usually we have a seized caliper or a slide pin that dries up, and what it does is it locks that pad and so it eats up one pad.
Okay.
But here, in the situation is you went, it's evenly all the way through, and you went all the way almost to metal all the way around.
So you basically, I asked too much of them.
Pretty much, you used them to the point where you went as far as you could go.
So what about the backs?
The backs we were still about 3.
Okay.
Which was good considering that, you know, you got dual wheels in the back.
Yeah.
You are carrying a lot of weight. But technically what we do is the best way you did it is the best way you did it.
Yeah.
The mileage, of course we went a little too far, but as far as the rotors being replaced and cutting the rotors and taking care of everything else is good.
So you're saying it's from today, in about 50,000 miles, I should come see you again.
Start keeping an eye on it. Around 40 to 50, we start getting closer and closer. Let's start checking it. Let's start keeping an eye on it. Next moves are going to be your brake flush.
Okay.
Because remember, we're putting a lot of pressure on these, and so we want to make sure that fluid stays good too.
Yeah.
So next time you do your brakes, maybe do the brake flush too.
Okay.
Get that fluid compressed, because remember, we want to make sure that pressure stays.
Oh wow, we work her every day.
And you can tell. We test drove it, runs good.
Yeah.
You're all good.
Thanks, sir.
You have a good day.
So they are done with the job, and they lied to me. They said it would take 4 to 5 hours. They were done in 3. I told them that was unacceptable. I expected to sit here for 5 hours doing nothing, and I want to go back inside and sit for 2 more. He says, well, you can sit here all day you want, but your truck's done. What did it cost to fix my truck today? I originally guessed it was going to be 1 rotor and all new brake pads around the entire truck, and I was expecting about $850. Well, we in fact had 2 bad rotors. We got the rear rotors turned and all new brake pads all around, and the total was $1,184. Seemed expensive, but when you break it down, I only paid $373 in labor. Parts wise, I would have paid the same if I purchased the parts from them separately. So the big question is, was today worth $373? Could I have saved that money? I think after I would have spent some money to buy a new floor jack, some jack stands, and any other tools I might need to do at the RV park, I would have only been saving about maybe $250 to do this job. I would gladly pay someone $373 to do this, what they did today, in 3 hours. He went ahead and checked out everything else and says, I don't need to worry about the next major maintenance until around 150,000 miles. Well, obviously the brakes are gonna be sooner than that. But the next big thing, as far as like transmission flushing, front and rear diff, all that stuff, 150,000 miles is when the next major maintenance things are due, as far as your fluids and everything. So I think this time around, we're probably gonna go ahead and write a little note that about 125,000 miles, we probably need to go ahead and change the brakes again so that we don't have to buy new rotors next time. Now the truck is good to go. There's one more thing we gotta do. This thing has still got the Big Ben funk all over it. So we're gonna go get this thing washed up, the inside and the out, because it surely does need it. This thing has not been washed in probably 3 weeks now. I promised the truck when we got here I would wash it, but because she was a little hurt, we haven't done anything to the truck, so we're gonna go take care of that now. We have the truck sprayed off, we vacuumed it out. Now we're gonna head back to the RV park and do a good one over on the inside and the out again with our quick detail spray, and we're gonna vacuum the inside one more time, wipe everything down, and we finally should have a good looking truck when the day is done. We got the truck wiped down and it's looking pretty good. And unfortunately, look what's coming in. Because I made you look good, it's gonna rain tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed hanging out today. Hope you learned some lessons to check your brakes a lot sooner than I did, because this was a pricey expense because I was lazy with my maintenance. If you want to get entered to win your Aurora heated jacket, head over to pavingnewpass.com and get yourself some of my merch. Get entered to win your very own heated jacket. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one.